Thank you everyone for joining in today. We are going to talk about how chatbots and digital assistants can help us in the corporate environment. Just as a quick introduction, I'm Arpan Makwana and I'm heading the innovation practice for Evosys globally. I've also got Francisco Stasi with me. Francisco, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Francesco. I'm one of the founders at Bot Supply. Bot Supply is an Oracle partner working with Oracle on a global scale, and we are very much focused on chatbots. So on the Oracle Digital Assistant and how it can integrate with any kind of on-prem or SaaS application from Oracle. And yeah, Evosys and Bot Supply, we're working globally to bring chatbots and to bring artificial intelligence to the major Oracle customers in the world.
Great. Thank you, Francisco. So we'll quickly go into the introduction. So we being Evosys, we work in a lot of different areas, right from HR applications to your financials like GL, AP, AR. We talk about supply chain, we talk about customer management or custom applications. So we've got good experience working on all the back end or back office solutions that you can think of, and we're like Oracle partners, and we've implemented more than 1,000 cloud applications globally. So that's to just give you a perspective that we understand how the backend office applications work and what are the kind of innovations or what are the kind of needs or pain areas that our customers are facing these days, even after going through the implementation of these corporate applications. So I will not invest too much time here. I'll move on quickly. So this is what we do on the innovation side. We are going to talk about the chatbots today. Apart from that, we also do business analytics, which is more on the advanced analytics side, like machine learning and artificial intelligence kind of algorithms, autonomous data warehouse and data virtualization kind of applications that help in a lot of business decision making. We've got also an extensive clientele on Internet of Things, IoT basically, wherein you got the device sensors on your equipments or people. You monitor the behavior, the monitor the health of your assets as well as people, trying to do preventive maintenance and predictive maintenance for to ensure lower downtime. So that's more from the IoT side. And then the other areas are like robotic process automation, like RPA, UiPath, and automation anywhere. So we do a lot of machine learning algorithms. We do lift and shift of applications from on-premise to cloud. So that's our overall portfolio on the innovation side. We are going to focus on the chatbots, as I mentioned. Let me quickly go through. So just to set the context, as I mentioned that we've done a lot of implementations of Oracle applications. Now, when you look at these different types of applications, these different applications serve different purpose for the end users as well as for the customers. So if you look at ERP, you have to create transactions like creating the invoices in the system, processing them through the approvals, similarly creating the purchase orders or making sure that your reconciliations are working fine, closure of the books, financial numbers on time every month. Similarly, the supply chain management part, your inventory part. On the HR side, there are a lot of policies that employee would want to know. Similarly, they want to raise leave requests or they want to fill up their timesheets or raise their expenses. And on the customer side, we've got the customer interactive portals. We give the information that the customers are looking for in terms of FAQs or in terms of transacting with their organization, giving an edge to the customer service or customer experience. And then there would be a lot of third-party applications which are non-Oracle or like HIS systems on the healthcare side or student information systems on the higher education side. Similarly, there would be a lot of in-house applications that you have in your infrastructure. So what we've done is, we've seen that our customers, they generally go through the pain of learning how all these different applications work in the organization. So they have to be trained and retrained on these different applications. We have to provide them support on how to use these applications, how to create certain transactions if they face any issues. So that is the major challenge. So let's say if I am a manager of a department, then I've basically got to, look at all these different applications, and I have to make sure that, I can create all the meaningful transactions in these backend applications, right? So I've got the responsibility not only to learn these applications along with managing my business, but also making sure that I comply with the organization creating all the transactions in the backend applications. So it becomes an additional workload for me. So what we've done is, to simplify the employees experience or to ease them in creating transactions, we have come up with chatbots that can interact with all your backend applications. So let's say today, if I open up, I start my day, I have to, approve leaves, I have to approve invoices or purchase orders, and I also have to see what is the status of my customers. So I can do all that from a common chatbot window. So you can see these are all different types of skills that I'm talking about: purchase orders, checking the inventory, procurement, or expenses approval or raising the expenses, absence manager, then employee goals, customer service, sales side. So I can actually do almost everything from all these different applications from a common chatbot window. So how does that help me, right? So today, if I start my day, as I mentioned, I can just open up my chatbot and say, okay, can you please show me what are the pending POs on my side? So the chatbot will clearly show me that these are the open POs that are pending for approval. I can view the details there on the chatbot itself, and I can say approve these ones, or I can say approve all. And the chatbot will go back into the backend application, approve those POs, and get back to me. So it is basically a personal digital assistant that I have at my disposal. So it also helps me to organize a lot of project management activities. It also helps me to make sure that I do not invest or waste a lot of time in creating these transactions, so that I can focus more on the business side, right? And we've seen a lot of organizations struggle when they move their applications. So let's say today there are certain applications that you have on premise. Now, if you want to move them on cloud, or let's say if you want to move from Oracle to SAP or SAP to Oracle or Microsoft, then your entire environment or your entire employee base goes through that disruption. They have to go through the learning curve of how the new applications would work, or where to click to get what information, right? So, considering you have a digital assistant in your environment today, which is interacting with your backend applications, even if you change your backend applications in some time, your employee experience will not change. They will not have to go through the learning curve, because they can raise the leave request from the chatbot the way they were doing earlier as well. The only change is that the chatbot will actually go back into the new application and raise the leave request and come back to you. So that saves a lot of time and effort from the training side, as well as from the system adoption side. So we've implemented these kind of applications in a lot of public sector organizations, as well as in a lot of private sector organizations in Middle East and other places. So, talking on all about the channels. So chatbot can be accessible from a lot of different channels. It can be accessible from Microsoft Teams, or from WhatsApp, or even from Facebook Messenger, or within the application's environment. So let's say if I open up one application, I can see a chatbot there, which can actually interact with a lot of different backend applications. So in the end, I don't have to open up multiple applications to create transactions on those. I don't need to know where to click to get the payslip, or where to click to create an invoice or approve a PO. All that can be done from a common chatbot window. So that's the ease of use, or that's the the powerful message that our end users get these days, and they are able to create these transactions right from the chatbot, rather than opening up these enterprise applications which I'm showing here. So I did mention about Oracle applications because we implement Oracle, but we've also integrated with SAP, Microsoft, Infor kind of applications, which are used as ERP by certain organizations. So moving forward, so these are, samples of the kind of skills that we have out of the box available that can be implemented for any organization. So if you say HCM, or basically the HR applications, so all these activities can be automated. right from candidate experience, which is like candidate onboarding or hiring, down to the pay slips, or ticket requests or expenses claim, or even FAQs. We've seen a lot of employees sending queries to their central HR team, so that their FAQs or their service requests can be catered by the central HR team. Now, the HR team gets a lot of these kind of requests from employees, and they have to cater to all the employees as well. So there is always time lag, there is always dependency on the central HR team to respond to these queries. Having a chatbot in the environment, you get the real-time reply to all your queries or questions, and the HR team, which is the central HR team, will also be relieved of all these different types of queries that are raised by different employees. So we'll talk a little more about HR in the next few slides. Similarly, management reporting. So as a department manager or as a business unit owner, I need to know how my workforce is doing, how my expenses are doing. Am I overshooting my budget? Am I not utilizing my budget accurately? Or what are my sales numbers? What is the revenue number? What is the P&L? So I need to know all this information on a real-time basis. So the chatbot can do that. The chatbot will really help you to get all the management reporting information at your fingertips, and that gives you the ease of use, or independence to access all this information from the corporate applications. Similarly, the supply chain part, the financials part, and the customer service part. So, if the customer wants to inquire about your products or your services, or even if you talk about, the customer creating an end-to-end transaction using their credit card, if they want to buy your services online, they can do that entirely from WhatsApp. Or similarly, they can do that entirely from your website, but through a chatbot rather than navigating to multiple clicks and multiple steps. So in short, it can integrate with all your backend applications, and it can also ensure that the customer or your internal employees, they have this information accessible very easily. So that's the end goal. So here, how we have categorized the overall digital assistant experiences into three different areas. One is from the customer side. So you can expose the chatbot on the customer side. The customers can quickly look at what services or what products you are offering from WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, as I mentioned, or any other channel. Similarly, they can do the transactions, they can look at the FAQs, they can get queries to their responses. So it ultimately reduces a lot of overload from your support teams or from your call center teams, right? Similarly, on the suppliers part, so organizations who have got a lot of suppliers or vendors, they can expose this to the suppliers, so that the suppliers can raise their invoices, or they can follow up for the payments. They can upload their trade licenses. All that stuff can be done right from the chatbot, and the chatbot will actually go back and update all those things into your backend applications. And the third area is better employee experiences. As I mentioned, all your corporate applications can be accessed through the chatbot. Not only the information, but you can also create the transactions from a chatbot. So I'll be showing you a few videos here, and that will give you an idea of how the chatbots look like, how the experience or look and feel would be from different use cases that I mentioned. So just to so this gives you a good perspective of how the chatbots can be actually used. So I'm quickly creating a poll question. I would request you to help me in identifying what are the right areas of utilizing this chatbot. So I have just opened up a poll. If you can see, and if you can just pick up the right answers and let me know. I'll keep it open for around like 10 seconds or so.
And Arpan, let me add that we have a lot of attendees during this webinar. So if you have any question, please don't hesitate to share in the chat, in a private chat. Just let us know what are your thoughts, and if you have anything that you would like us to cover during the presentation, that would really help us a lot.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for the responses. I'll close the poll now. Okay, great. So I think a lot of people have answered it, saying that this can really help organizations to do better. So and I agree. I've seen organizations struggling to get the success out of the corporate applications that they've implemented, or even make sure that employees are using these applications on a routine basis and making sure that the transactions are created to be compliant. So we've seen, a chatbot giving them an ease of use on a routine basis. So let me move forward from here. So as I said, these are three different categories of chatbots or digital assistants that we have created. And a lot of these kind of skills, or a lot of these packages, are pre-built with us, and we provide them out of the box as a part of our implementation service. So again, to tell you why a chatbot, or how chatbot or digital assistant is more intelligent enough. So you can actually speak over it, or you can type on it. So it is available in multiple languages, whether it is Arabic or English, or even European languages. So we have tried to give as much comfort to the end users as possible. So when I talk to the chatbot, I don't need to talk in a robotic way, right? I don't need to say, okay, raise leave request, and then again click on saying that, okay, open up the calendar, and then I pick the date. I can just open up the chatbot and say, okay, can you please raise a leave request for the next Thursday? So it understands what next Thursday means. It understands, what leaves are available in my balance, like what are the annual leaves or sick leave available. So based on that, it will help me to choose the right option and create the leave. So I don't have to follow a standard or a structured approach to create a leave request. So that's a simple example. Similarly, as I said, no applications required to be downloaded on your mobile phone. So if you're using iPhone, we can integrate it with Siri. And if you're using Google Assistant, like Android, we can integrate it with Google Assistant. So at any point in time, I can just say, hey Siri, can you please show me the variance analysis of the last month? And it'll pull that up. It'll show me that this is the variance analysis, this is how it looks like. Your expenses are shooting up because of XYZ reasons. So that is the way how chatbot is intelligent enough not only to show you the report, but also do your what if analysis or root cause analysis if you are missing certain KPI somewhere. Obviously, it is 24/7 available at your disposal, so you can talk to the chatbot any point of time. It understands where to pick that data from, whether from HR or for planning and budgeting, or from your financial application. So it understands that accurately. It supports a lot of channels, so I can open up the chatbot on Facebook Messenger. On the same time, I can have it open on my website and even on Google Assistant. So I can access the chatbot from multiple locations or from multiple channels at the same time. And as I mentioned, it helps you to become independent. You don't have to ask for help from HR team, or from the reporting team, or from the technical team to give you the data that you need. So the chatbot can actually go back into all these different applications and get the information that you have requested. So those are the capabilities. Again, so Francisco, if you want to add more on how it helps us to, enable that, and there is a machine learning component and AI component which is involved in it, so that ultimately when you keep interacting with the chatbot, it becomes intelligent, and it knows what kind of query you are asking about and what kind of information that you generally require.
Exactly, learns. It definitely learns over time. It gets better and better. And with the adoption of entities, for example, it also is extremely smart in understanding not just the general kind of topic of the question, but you can really go into the details. So you can say, for example, where is my payslip for December 2018, and the chatbot is going to understand about which specific payslip you're talking about, and provide information about that specific piece of content that you're looking for. The same for, you know, when we are talking about supply chain management. So chatbots really have the ability of understanding in depth what people, employees, customers, suppliers are asking about. And overall, just one note on the ROI, because we've been working in the chatbot space for the last 4 years, Arpan, and I'm not saying, I don't want to say, I cannot say that you know, it takes 1 week to automate 80% of the most repetitive questions. But what I can say is that you're going to see ROI. We see ROI for our customers from day one. So within the first month, it is very, very unlikely that you're not going to be able to automate 30 to 40% of the most repetitive queries. So you can just imagine the amount of savings, the amount of time that you're going to save by adopting this technology that, as Arpan says, keeps learning over time, keeps getting better over time, even because a lot of companies have historical data sets from emails, chat conversations, phone call transcripts. So we can actually use all of these historical data, crunch this data with artificial intelligence, and actually get a kickstart on what are the topics where a chatbot can be more efficient from the get-go. So yeah.
Right. Great. So let me, that's an interesting point, you know. So we don't want a dummy chatbot in the organization that does not understand the context of the discussion, or that does not directly get me the kind of response or the report that I want from the backend systems, right? It should be intelligent enough. And that's where, so let's try to make this interesting. I'll show you a couple of videos here. So you can see the screen, right, Francisco? You can see the folder.
Yes.
Okay, great. So let me open up the first part, which is the management reporting. So let me give you a quick overview about what this does is. So this is what we've implemented for one of our customers in Saudi Arabia, Fawaz Al Hokair. So they are a conglomerate. They have businesses in multiple lines, and the management reporting took a lot of time because they had to gather all that information, collate it, and then present it. So that there was always delay. And if we cannot get the reports on time, and if we cannot do the right decision making on time, then the reports are actually not useful, right? So we need to get the information and the data on time for accurate decision making. So we implemented this for them on Siri, and you can directly invoke Siri, and the Siri can start giving you all the reports that you want. So let me show you a couple of videos from Fawaz. This is one of them. So here I'm trying to interact with the chatbot, and I'm just asking for certain frequently accessed reports. So when I click on P&L, it will tell me what kind of P&L analysis do I want. Is it monthly, or is it yearly or quarterly? And then I can see, you know, pick up any of the entity here because they have got a lot of different entities. So I want to look at it from a consolidated perspective. So this is how it gives me all the reports without, you know, waiting for the books to close, or without waiting for the people to gather all the information from different entities and create a report. So the chatbot does that on the run and gives me. So here the best part is it is interactive. It's not a static report. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can click on certain graphs or dashboards that I can see here, and then it will give me the details or the breakup of those numbers here. So management reporting is generally a pain that we have seen, and if you don't get the reports on time, then, as I said, you know, the decision making gets delayed till that level. So there's another video. So this was more from, you know, chatting or typing. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear this, but yeah, you can see what's happening on Siri.
Show me highlight. Please select any key ratio, profit and loss items, balance sheet items, performance ratio. Profit and loss items. For which business? Malls. Let me show you the details.
So it goes back into your applications. It fetches the numbers that I want, and based on that, I can see the real-time reports that get extracted. So I can see the reports in a regular number format or tables or even dashboards and chart, just the way I showed you. Similarly, on the other hand, let's say if I want to utilize chatbot from WhatsApp, right? Because I see that most of the users, they have WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is independent of whether I have iOS or whether I have Android phones, right? So if you can see, we have also created, implemented it for one of our customers. So if you see here, I can directly open up the WhatsApp and start typing and chatting with the corporate applications as if I'm talking to an assistant or to a friend. And it also has the authentication. So just to show you how the authentication works, multiple ways how you can do it. Either you can have a single sign-on, or you can have an OTP based mechanism to authenticate the right user. So based on which option you pick, we can integrate with the uh, signing, whether it is MSAD or standalone security authentication that you want to do. Once it is authenticated, then you can directly start interacting with the options. So either I can pick up the option that I have here, or I can directly start typing. I can say, okay, I am planning to take a leave on next Monday. So it will automatically go back into the HR application, raise the leave request, and come back. And if there are any important questions, then it will ask me those questions before it goes back into the corporate application, which is the HR application in this case. So you can see, the way I'm typing here. Some places I'm saying 10 a.m. in this way. Some places I'm saying 6:30 p.m. this way. So I don't need to follow a structured approach, and that's where the beauty comes in, right? So I want to use my natural language, or I want to use chat language to interact with all my corporate applications and get my things done, rather than knowing how that application works and I have to adapt that. So that is not required in this case. So based on that, it creates the leaves. It shows me how many annual leave balance or sick leave balance that I have here, and I can do a lot of transactions. I can ask, what is the policy for marriage leaves? What is the policy for compensatory leaves? Or what is the travel allowance policy? How much allowance do I get to buy a new laptop? So all your FAQs that are ideally hard coded in your PDF policy documents can be completely automated for the HR chatbot here.
And Arpan, what I may want to add is that the videos that you showed are in English, but together we can also deliver these kind of solutions in Arabic text, and we are soon to release Arabic speech to text, which means that your employees, your customers, your vendors will actually be able to interact with you using voice on WhatsApp, on Facebook Messenger, on Google Home, whatever the device. So there is
Right.
greater flexibility also in terms of languages.
Correct. Correct. So there's an interesting question about suppliers. So if I host or if I expose the chatbot to the suppliers, where should I be hosting it, right? So ideally, this is a cloud-based application uh, driven on Oracle platform. So it is hosted on cloud, but you can expose the chatbot to the suppliers. So this is a small snapshot. I would not say it's an end-to-end demo because of the time constraint. So what we are doing here is this is a chatbot that is exposed to the suppliers on Facebook Messenger, for example, right? So that is it is easily accessible. So we can host it on Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or even on corporate channels like Teams if people are using it. So I can just open up and I can check for the invoices. I can view my canceled invoices, or I can see what are the pending documents to be submitted, or when I can get the payment for this invoice. So all these queries keep getting back to the central accounts payable team, and they have to continuously keep replying to all the vendors or suppliers. So as a supplier, I can just query my invoice number, and it asks for security questions. It will ask for authentication, maybe through OTP, and I can get the details this way. So what is the status, what was the amount, what is the you know, approval status in-house, do I need to upload any documents as such? So I can do all that. Even supplier registration. So if I'm a new supplier, I can do the entire supplier registration from a chatbot rather than having to send all the documents on email or access it from a web portal. So all that is not required. You can do the complete supplier registration also through a chatbot. So this is just for sample, you know, what are the invoices and, you know, from the supplier's perspective. So before I show you other videos, I want to switch back to our presentation, and I want to show you what different types of use cases are there on board. So these are just a snapshot of the kind of implementations that we've done. So I've created three different columns. One is business function related. The other is specific to the line of business or the vertical that you operate in. And the third is like public sector or government related chatbot. So if you can see the first part, which is business function, these are all different areas that you can automate on the chatbot, like HR, all the self-service as we spoke, recruitment assistance, the finance self-service, supply chain self-service, vendors payment status, customer perspective. So you can expose this to the customers. Customers can buy and you know, engage in your services and products on the chatbot directly. The enterprise performance management, like planning and budgeting, profitability and cost management kind of interactions, the management reporting, and even IT help desk and troubleshooting. So let's say today I'm not able to access my uh, leave because of certain issues. Let's say things certain, let's say new policy has come up, work from home policy, and I have to install VPN to access certain things. So how do I access VPN? What do I need to do? Where do I download that software from? So I can divert the entire IT help desk to the chatbot. So chatbot will help me step by step to get to what I want to do. And also, if I'm facing any issues, it can create a ticket in the backend IT help desk system that you have. And I don't have to open that application also. It will create a ticket for me, and I can check the status of the ticket. I can get the help from required people. So the entire IT help desk can also be automated on the chatbot. And we've done that with a lot of customers. We have integrated with ServiceNow. We have integrated with Oracle HR, sorry, the IT help desks system. And a lot of organizations have their own Java or .NET based ingrown systems. So we have integrated with those kind of applications as well. So this gives you a brief idea about what business function related chatbots can be expanded to. And again, as I said, I don't need to have multiple windows to access all these different functions. From a common window, I can do all these activities if I have access to these areas of the business functions. Similarly, on the vertical specific chatbots, you know, patient appointment booking or call center automation. So a lot of organizations like banking, financial, insurance, they have call centers. So we have been successfully be able to reduce the call center volumes by automating all the frequently asked questions, queries, suggestion, complaints directly on the chatbot. Similarly, the customer service, post sales kind of service, for logistics, for e-commerce kind of websites. Similarly, student university interaction, car rental. So these are all vertical specific chatbots that you know, we have got as a part of our repository. And then there are public sector related chatbots which are more from the hosted by the governments. So let me tell you, you know, uh, looking at the benefits that the chatbot gives, we have actually implemented this with Ministry of Education in Saudi Arabia, with Capital Markets Authority in Saudi. In UAE also, we have implemented that with a couple of public sector organizations like Abu Dhabi Education and Knowledge Center, ADEC. So a lot of public sector organizations have started using this on WhatsApp, on Telegram, as well as on Facebook Messenger kind of channels. So you can see the adoption is pretty high. And you know, we are also engaged with one of the public sector organizations which is more related to public health. So how during coronavirus, you know, to get the right information, to understand when is the lockdown happening, what are the precautions that I need to take. So we have implemented those entire things which are governed by WHO on different channels for a public sector organization, which is more related to health and safety of the locals. So let me also raise another poll. I want to understand from all of you guys as to what area do you think the chatbot can be best utilized in your organization, whether it is from the employee side or whether it is from the customer side, or it is to help you start your digital transformation journey. So I'll launch this and I'll keep it open for again 10-15 seconds. So I really appreciate your input, and we will try to understand as to which areas do you think you can utilize the kind of chatbot that we are showcasing. Great, thank you so much. So I've seen a lot of people have responded on the customer experience improvement side. A few of them have also mentioned about the internal employee experience, because that helps them save a lot of time and effort and not having to go through the learning curve of how the backend applications work. So I think it's a good way to not only completely digitally transform your organization, because yes, these applications are very important, but does it require me to go through the learning curve all the time? How the applications work, what are the technical details, how to create reports? Should I actually invest a lot of time and effort there? Because today, let's say if I'm learning Oracle in my organization, tomorrow if the organization shifts to Microsoft or to SAP or any other ERP systems, then do I have to go through the learning curve again? So we want people to focus on their business. We want them to contribute more on the business part rather than learning these corporate applications. Same goes for the customers. We don't want them to open up our website every time or to inquire over the telephone. We want to give them ease of access. So based on the recent survey that we have seen from Gartner says that around 70% of corporate applications will start using chatbot in the next 2 to 3 years. So this is coming from leading market research organizations like Gartner. So and we've seen the kind of benefits that organizations are getting out of these kind of implementations. Let me move forward from here. So I already explained why chatbots, or how chatbots can be utilized for HR in terms of the digital transformation that the organization can get. So it impacts all the levels of employees. Employees at the operational level, they do not have to spend more time in creating transactions. The management employees, they do not have to spend time in approving the requests. And let me tell you, the most important part is, as I mentioned, chatbot is intelligent enough. So how do we utilize the intelligence, or how does it make sure that it is intelligent enough? So let's say I'm a manager of a particular project, and there are certain leaves that are pending for approval. So when I say approve all, it will highlight that there are two important resources working on the same project who also have applied the leaves on the same time. So their leaves are overlapping. So that is a critical condition. So the chatbot is intelligent enough to understand those conditions and highlight to me, so that the project does not suffer. So it will stop me, it will ask me to review it, and if I'm confident, only then I can approve. Otherwise I can reject one and approve one based on that. So this is one, just a quick example that came to my mind, and this is how it helps you to make the right decisions. It's not just a bot that will pick up the information and give it to you. It will help you in making the right decisions in the right point in time. And again, from the central HR side, they will save a lot of time and effort. They will not have to respond to all the queries that are coming from different people in the organization. Moving forward, why chatbots for support? So as I said, we've implemented that for a lot of organizations from the support perspective. Standard FAQs like, what is the product or service pricing that you have, or how do I pay, or similarly, what kind of warranty do I get on the your products or services. Similarly, automates a lot of other queries like, where is my order, or when can I get the order delivered, or I want to track the delivery of that particular order. Similarly, if I want to give a feedback or complain about a particular type of service or product that I use from your organization, I can do that from the chatbot very quickly, right? And the chatbot can also help you to suggest. So if, as mentioned here, so it integrates with your knowledge base. So the chatbot acts like your digital receptionist that will pick up articles, or that will pick up a lot of things from your knowledge base, and then respond to the customers intelligently based on the context of the way they are talking. So it understands whether the customer is angry or happy or sad or not satisfied with your services. So it not only answers them, but also creates a sentiment analysis kind of a report saying that these many customers are not happy. So what can we do better to serve them in a much better way, or how can we make them happy? So it also creates a sentiment analysis report for you. Similarly, email and ticket automation. So if I want to create tickets, or if I want to get certain things emailed, I just have to open up my phone and say, hey Siri or hey Google Assistant, can you please email me this document or this report, and we'll go through. So it's that easy. Similarly, in more complex scenarios, the chatbot can hand over the entire conversation to a live agent. So that's called a live handoff. So the chatbot can transfer all the communication, all the details to a live agent, so that the live agent can take it forward from there if required. So the chatbot understands which areas it can handle, which areas it cannot handle, and based on that, intelligently it will shift the conversation that way.
And
IT help
Arpan,
desk, I already. Yes, please.
just
Yeah,
one
Francis.
note on the previous slide, because we just went live 2 months ago with a customer that was receiving 20,000 tickets a month, customer-facing tickets, and within a month, the chatbot was able to take care automatically, end-to-end, 100% of 25% of these tickets. We're talking about 5,000 tickets a month, automated in 30 days, which for that specific customer meant 2 full-time employees, which are not necessarily people that need to be, let go, but that means that the company could save time and money from the customer service department, and basically retrain these 2 resources into marketing and sales activities. So there is a double saving when implementing a good chatbot.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So it's not just one-way communication. So I got a couple of queries or questions on the chat. So I would like to answer those as well. So yes, there are a lot of discussions that are customer initiated on the chatbot. But on the other hand, the chatbot can also send notifications or communications directly, which are chatbot initiated to the customers. So the chatbot can say, okay, hey, you used this service last time, and based on our understanding, we can help you better, or we can serve you better if you look at this service of ours, which is a new service, which is an advanced feature, or the new addition to our portfolio. So it can also initiate a lot of marketing, customer update. Let's say if there is a query, or there is a question that the customer had asked, and we had to raise a ticket for that. So when the ticket is resolved, or if there is additional communication, the chatbot can initiate the conversation with the customers or with the employees. So it has the capability to also initiate discussions, or initiate conversations in terms of the support queries, or even the marketing and branding kind of activities. But obviously we don't want to overload the customer with a lot of offers, because we don't want them to be to go off the chat engine. So we would try to limit the marketing and branding activities or advertisements that we send them, and we also want them to utilize this chat engine for ease of use. So that reduces the overall cost of operation for the organization as well, because they will not have to keep so many agents, live agents on the floor to service these many customers, right? Similarly, if I go forward on the IT help desk, so resetting password, basic ticketing and all that can be very quickly done from the chatbot, as I mentioned earlier. For ERP areas, we already discussed, from the finance side, reports or insights, or even purchase orders, invoices, all that can be done. Project management, assigning work to people or rosters, how what activities have been assigned to them, so the chatbot can initiate those discussions with the employees directly. So yeah, I mean, I want to keep some time for questions, so I'll be more than happy if you have any questions and we can answer them. So you can ask us questions in the chat window, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Arpan, I received a question in my private chat, which is about can the bot make decisions on the fly? Well, the chatbot definitely can take decisions on the fly. Of course, in the implementation process, we want to map all the different scenarios where the chatbot can operate within. And so let's say you have a customer asking for a refund, for example. That's something that bot supply and Evosys together with the customer need to analyze and define before going live with the chatbot. So all these different kind of scenarios can definitely be mapped in the implementation phase, so that the chatbot is able to really take care end to end of these processes that usually require manual work. Those can be fully automated by a chatbot.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's purely based on the rules or the protocols that the organization follows. And if we define those protocols and rules, the chatbot can definitely take decisions. So there is another question which talks about integrating with different applications. So can we integrate this with cloud or on-premise, or if there is any limitation to integrate with any application? So I would say it is platform agnostic. It does not depend on the kind of applications that you use. It can integrate with cloud applications, and on the same time it can also talk to your on-premise application. So we work with organizations who've moved, let's say, only the HR application on cloud. Their finance application is still on-premise. So we can have a chatbot that can talk to the cloud as well as the on-premise application at the same time. And it does not have to be a standard application. It can be a homegrown or a custom application as well. So yeah, to answer the question, I would say yes, it can integrate with any system, and it does not have any limitation in terms of the integration capabilities. So there is another question about how quickly the implementation can happen. So I would say it depends on the use cases. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of use cases. So if I go back, so if I want to pick up just a couple of use cases from here, like HR or finance or even the customer side. So we have implemented certain solutions which are up and running in few weeks, like in 4 to 5 weeks. But in some cases where they have an enterprise-wide chatbot, which integrates to their planning and budgeting, which integrates to a lot of their backend applications, then it may take a little more time to implement this, because there are a lot of stakeholders involved. So rolling that out to multiple stakeholders, the multiple departments, making sure that they have well tested it, and it is helping them in all those areas. So that takes time. So we want to make sure that internal employees are happy before it can be rolled out to the larger audience. So that might take time, but as I said, we've got certain pre-built packages which help us to expedite the overall implementation experience.
Arpan, we got a question regarding healthcare chatbots.
Right.
With
Right.
one of the IT that is planning a bot in their IT help desk to start with.
Right.
And
Right.
we have a case with, for example, the Helsinki Hospital in Finland, which is the second biggest employer in Finland with 25,000 employees. And that's where they started from. An IT help desk chatbot integrated with that was integrated with 5, 6 different backend systems where employees can go in, ask questions about different softwares. Maybe they forgot the password. Maybe they can get access to a specific application. And so definitely healthcare is a very interesting area, especially these days with the hospitals being overwhelmed with
Absolutely.
cases.
So yeah, we can start with the IT help desk use case. But then if you want to move on and expand your investment to other areas, you can do that as well. So I've got this patient symptom appointment. So the chatbot can start asking me, what symptoms I have, and then it also takes me to the appointment booking. So it will help me to it will give me the list of doctors that are available with their credentials. I can pick up any doctor, then it will tell me that these are the time slots available for the doctor. I can pick up the time slot, and then all my conversation goes to the doctor, so that the doctor knows the symptoms that I have beforehand. So that's again on the healthcare side. So we can start with IT help desk, and then we can expand to other. So that's how we do it generally with organizations. So we basically pick up one or two use case, and we show them the success of these initial use cases, and then we expand it to the other departments in the organization. So I just want to share one last poll with you. Let me share the poll. So just to understand your interest, so we can have discussions with you. Our subject matter experts can help you identify the right areas in the organization based on the workshop that we do. So we can have a free workshop with people who are interested in doing this or assessing what kind of chatbots can be utilized in their organization. So I've just opened up a poll for you. So if you can help us, we'll be more than happy to interact with you and do a small workshop with you that helps you to identify the right areas for implementing these chatbots. And again, so when we are saying identify the areas, we will also be able to show you the total return on investment that you can get from your investment. Great. Thank you so much. Do we have any more questions?
Not that I can see.
Okay. So just last poll on rating this. I don't want to overload you with a lot of activities to do on this webinar, but just a last poll to assess ourselves whether this kind of session was really useful for you or not. And do you think these kind of innovations can really help organizations to do much better? So let us know your responses so that this really helps us in aligning ourselves with the market. I see that a couple of people have raised their hand on this webinar. So I mean, if you have any questions, please feel free to add those questions in the chat box, and we will be happy to answer those. Great. Anything else from your side, Francisco, if you want to add, or can we close the call?
No, I think we covered a lot of aspects of how to implement the chatbot, how quick it actually is to drive ROI. We had a lot of questions, and of course, please don't hesitate. We're going to follow up at the end of this webinar with the recording of this session. So if you have any other question, then we're going to be very happy to take it, on a one-on-one basis.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining in the call today. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.